just jumping into one drop.
Yesterday was worth
Yeah,
6K, today it's like 6.3K.
it's your big blind. I play
It's like when Bitcoin goes up to
10
$1 million,
games.
right? All of a
So
sudden people are just gonna be like firing
the game
off
that I would
Bitcoin.
choose for life in my bread and butter would be an 8-game or a 10-game mix.
I mean,
And
dude,
then
the smartest
if
people
that weren't an
are
option,
predicting
I
that
would play
it
a
is.
mix
It is
between
going
No
to
Limit
like
Hold'em and PLO.
Microsoft invested in it.
What's that?
Yeah, they are very useful things.
Microsoft has been investing in it.
The CEO.
You read it twice and got it. I'm not trolling. I have a book here and been stuck on page 19 for a year. I have not got my 4th grade multiplication tables down. Any advice? I would happily go over anything you want in that book and break it down to you step by step. I obviously can't do that today, on stream, but you can get a hold of me. I'm here at the bike, 5-6 days a week. I will happily go over that with you.
What Bitcoin is, like how much would people care for?
Painless Poker is a very good book. I really enjoyed Tommy Angelo's work.
No, because over time it becomes harder and harder.
Because they're the range.
MJ, what are your thoughts on 3-5 games with Lucky Chances in the Oaks? Let me get back to that in a second.
It was more easy to mine.
Right.
Oh, we just have a brutal cooler here. So I'm not sure what the pre-flop action was, but we have Harry with top boat and Michael with trip fives with the ace kicker.
Vice special where they have like these mines in China where it's like whole warehouses just full of rows and rows.
And I think Harry's just going to flat here Michael's raise because, oh my gosh. I was going to say he's going to flat here because Harry has this board locked down. I don't think Harry's going to lose his entire stack here. Yeah, he's too good of a player just to go broke with this hand. But because Harry had it so locked down on the flop, him just flatting there when someone raises is perfect. Right? You keep their ranges wide. You keep all of their bluffs in, and you keep their fives in, taking the lead. Brutal.
But they're way more expensive. They're like 4K for a nice one. 20K for a very.
This is such a tough spot. I have faith in my boy Harry. And he calls. Brutal. Yeah, I mean, it's so brutal. That's such a tough spot. Like, there's not many worse scenarios in No Limit Hold'em than this. I don't know if Michael is shoving anything other than quads on that board. Based on how he played the hand pre-flop and on the flop, he's capping his range 3, so aces and kings are out of his range the majority of the time, or at least massively discounted. And if that's true, right, what else is he shoving? Because Harry has 2 queens, so it's not like Michael's going to have a queen because Harry blocks him. He has the board locked down. It's also not like Michael is going to be shoving a 6, like effectively turning that hand into a bluff. So I'm not sure what Harry's beating really, and I know that's so sick to say when you flop top boat, but when all the money goes in, and they were deep, they weren't short, like minimum, 200 and something bigs, right? Like when the money goes on the turn, what is Harry beating effectively? Like Michael's not repping anything but quads. Let me know what you guys think about that analysis.
Exactly. Maybe after this hand.
Yeah, I punt stacks. He would do that with the case queen. I'm not sure he would do it with case queen, to be quite honest with you. But the fact that Harry has 2 queens, it's just so brutal because he has almost all the blockers, so it's like you have to massively discount that, right? Oh no, I'm not trying to make Harry feel bad by him calling. Like, look, it is not an easy fold. And there's obviously, I'm slightly biased because I can see the hand. But when you go back and line check and think about the thought process that I went through, right? At the end of the thought process, what conclusion are you coming to other than that? Like, I don't think he has kings and aces because of how he played flop and pre-flop. So he's capping his range. If that is true and you have 2 queens, And do you think he's the type of player to jam 200 bigs on river with turning a 6 into a bluff? Of course he's not, right? So with all that information, based on you line checking, based on you looking at what I call identifiers, in a hand on how to dissect a hand, right? And look at all that identifiers. What's he going to show up with? I just don't see anything else other than 5s. MJ, have you seen Michael play before? Is that he has that bluff in his arsenal? He has really deep stack, tough bluffs in his arsenal. I feel like that's one spot where
78 actually.
I swear
it's almost just too suicidal.
It's 8. Harry, you're still playing, right? Yeah. So it's 8 times. It's 8. It's your favorite. You done? Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, but there wasn't 3 of a kind on the board, guys. Like,
7 times.
I punt stacks. Like, it's much different.
2 outs.
Ranges become so much more narrower when there's 3 of a kind on the flop,
This flop coming up.
No, we did it right. I'm saying you just lost. Yeah.
right? Because you're repping so much smaller.
You didn't actually lose, but since you weren't looking, we just pretended you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate for Harry. I feel bad for him, and you can't blame him. But just how I think about poker and how I dissect and analyze hands, and this is going to go bet fold, how I dissect is
Queen 5-5.
I really, really take into consideration, I line check, I look at identifiers, I look at images and perceived images and ranges, and you take in all that information, right, and you dump it out on river, and the river is the
Hold on. He raised.
is the street where all equities are realized. Decisions have to be perfect on rivers, right? It's not like turns where equities haven't realized. You don't have to make perfect decisions based because you have bet sizing and people can fold and make mistakes, etc. But you have to put in all the information, and I know it's so much easier to do out of hand than in hand, and that's what I really focus on with my students, is how to think in a hand. That's the most important. Because any monkey can talk and be results oriented after a hand, it's went down, but it's being able to utilize this information and the skill in a hand. Right? So it seems like an impossible spot for Harry, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's a
So
fold.
he check raise flop.